he's going to have an event in June in Los Angeles. And Isaac Pelayo presents Vision, Paintings by Isaac Pelayo. The opening reception will be on June 2nd, 2018, located at 1108 South Los Angeles Street in Unit 101 in Los Angeles from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock. And it is hosted by Antonio Pelayo Productions, and Antonio is very involved with cultural arts with regard to our community, and he's been a guest on our show before. And one of the artist statements that Isaac has with regard to his vision with regard to his pieces that he's going to be showing is that this current body of work explores the inspiration of the great minds that came before me. This is his quote: "Visionaries, artists, culture producers, entertainers, and grandiosos alike. Those individuals who enlightened contributions to history, inspire, and inform his creative practice today. Like them, he too, Isaac, seeks enlightenment, spiritual, intellectual, and most of all within his creations. Thus, he has begun a visual exploration of the occult power and wisdom granted by the ever-present awareness reached by a metaphysical knowledge contained in the theory of the third eye." In an homage to those who influence Isaac, such as Frida Kahlo, Walt Disney, Michael Jackson, Tupac Shakur, Biggie, Einstein, and etc., he too yearns to engulf himself with the wisdom and serenity afforded to him within the mastery of his own craft. This body of work allows him to pursue and explore a psychological and spiritual realm. And that's obvious, Isaac, with regard to your metaphysical knowledge, the word that you put into your press release. Tell us about yourself. I want you to introduce yourself to the audience and what inspired you.
Well, hello, everybody, to all the listeners. Well, like you said, I'm from Los Angeles. I'm a 21-year-old artist, mostly self-taught. And, well, particularly this show, you know, I've worked on a lot of different things growing up. I've created a lot of different work, and I had my first solo show a couple years ago. And that was a good show, but this time I really wanted to, you know, step out of my element and really show that, you know, I could produce some things that I felt, you know, that were kind of, you know, as powerful as I felt that they were. And when I first started this series, I started it last year, very early on last year. I did a portrait of Tupac. And I had just started painting. I've only been painting for I'd say about going on 2 years. But prior, I had always done work in pencil. And, you know, I felt compelled to learn how to paint, to translate my messages in different languages. You know, some people just gravitate to paintings more than they do pencil oftentimes. And so I started painting, and I created this portrait of Tupac with the third eye, and I started to realize a little more and more, you know, what it started to have a little more meaning to me. It started to become a little more solidified, and I then started to venture off and doing other figures who were really important in my life and played a strong role in shaping the person that I am today. You know, for example, you know, I'm also a musician. I'm a rapper, and I'm a writer. And I started doing, you know, dabbling in music and performing stuff like that when I was about 12, 13, and really pushing it really heavily maybe when I was around 15, 16. And, you know, these musicians like Michael Jackson, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, they all had an impact on me, not just in music, but as a person, as the people they were. You know, I felt that they had this knowledge, this sense of perception of reality that was so much profound and so much, so beyond our lifetime. And that's why they were so great. This body of work features not just people who are celebrities. It's not just people who are well known or wealthy or popular. Though that they're recreated many times as in the pop culture, but these people are really dear to my heart, and they've really shaped the person that I am today. I didn't have that many mentors growing up. I didn't have that many people to teach me these things. When I was young, I started reading books really young. I watched a lot of documentaries, and I studied a lot of people very, very closely, very heavily. And these people somewhat became my teachers and my mentors, and the people that I looked up to, and the people that I sort of wanted to kind of emulate in a way, but as Isaac Pelayo, not as trying to be these people. I wanted to be myself, but I wanted to really take what these people have inspired me with and use it for me in my life, in my career, and my crafts. And so that's pretty much what this whole body of work is about. Expressing and sharing the people who have inspired me. And these people are people who I feel who have this super enlightened this super enlightened mind, something that's, like I said, beyond our time. And I wish that these people weren't as recreated as so much, because it just makes me seem like I'm doing the same thing. But I really am sharing these deep feelings and this connection that I have with these people. And I'd love to share these people with the younger demographic, the people who are starting to not really study these people anymore. These people are some of the greatest, and I just kind of want to share and spread that. So that's what this whole series is about. And I hope a lot of people like it, and I've gotten really great feedback on it so far.
Let's talk Frida Kahlo. What captivates you about Frida?
Frida, like as a Hispanic, as Mexican, Frida obviously plays a really strong role. Growing up in elementary school, we learned a lot about Frida, her whole life, her artwork, and I was just blown away by how brave she was to exploit her life the way she did. That wasn't very normal in her time and in her region. Women, they didn't expose their life like that. They were very closed off, and Frida was very opposite. She wanted to share her life. She wanted to share herself, and she was a completely free-spirited, and it was very sad, the things that she's gone through, the relationships, the relationship problems that she dealt with, the accidents, and the miscarriages and all that stuff. My mom is a woman who has had many miscarriages, and I relate to that. I understand that pain, and I understand a lot. Like her life, I've seen it firsthand. In the women in my family. So I just kind of gravitated. I felt like I knew her in a sense, and the fact that she was a painter, and her paintings were amazing, and they were so captivating and so strong, that just completely blew me away as a child. And she's always been an inspiration and a motivation to kind of be myself and be free and not worry about what other people think about me, or don't be afraid to share my feelings, share my thoughts, and just kind of put myself out there, but not in a very bad way. Just kind of saying, hey, this is who I am. This is the situation. This is what it is. If you like it, cool. If you don't, you don't. That was Frida Kahlo, and I respect that so much.
Yeah, the movie, the recent movie, I forgot who played it. The name is at the top of. Salma Hayek played Frida Kahlo, and I thought she did a really good job depicting her life.
That was a great film. Yeah, that was a really good film. Salma Hayek, she resembles a lot like Frida too. In some parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great film. And speaking of that film, just a little art history. The cover of that film was produced and created by Richard Eduardo, another fellow artist, practically like the Andy Warhol of the West Coast, a fellow friend of my father's and I. So it's just so many funny little connections with Frida.
Yeah, Salma Hayek did a really good job, especially depicting the pain, particularly with Diego and just the relationship ups and downs. What about Tupac? Tupac's another favorite of mine.
Well, growing up, hip hop was my first music. I mean, I grew up listening to hip hop super early on. I mean, I was, born into listening to hip hop, and obviously, Tupac was a person who I just grew onto, listening to him from day one and really listening to his lyrics and understanding his upbringing. I kind of felt, I feel like I related to Tupac a lot. I've had a lot of issues, like parental issues in which, my parents were going through things, and I felt that I had this burning passion to do something with myself, and I needed to get out and I needed to do something, and I respected that. It's like Tupac went through so much growing up as a child and see so many things. I've seen a good amount. I haven't seen a lot, but I've seen enough to understand what it is to be a child and to be an adolescent and see things and be stuck in this environment in which, is not the greatest for you. It's just turmoil, and you have this burning passion. You want to do something. You need to get out. And I relate to that. And, Tupac is for, people want to look at the negative BS, but, as a person he was extremely intelligent, extremely smart. He had a profound message, and he was super talented. I mean, the guy was an amazing lyricist. His writing skills were amongst the best of the best all time, hands down. Him and Biggie Smalls. I can never compare the two. It bothers me so much when people ask me, "Oh, who do you like more, Biggie or Tupac?" It's like, dude, you can't compare the two. I mean, it's just they were both so different. Even though they're playing the same game, they're so different in their own way, and they're both extremely talented in their own right. It's like choosing fire and ice. You can't. They're both equally powerful. So, but yeah, Tupac was certainly a big inspiration growing up.
Now, it seems like a lot of the people that you're going to be, a lot of the people that you've painted are musicians. What do you do in music? I know a lot of musicians in LA, so.
Well, yeah, I haven't done much with my music passion because it's one of those things that really takes up so much of your time. And I'm a writer. I mean, I've always written poetry as a kid, and as I got older, it just progressed, and I ended up writing more lengthy stuff, and it eventually turned into me wanting to perform them. And I just I'm not a singer. If I could sing, I would love to sing. I'm a fan of most types of music. I mean, from hip hop to rock and roll to classic rock to classical stuff, jazz, blues, all that. I'm a fan of it all. EDM. It really is very little music that I don't like. But yeah, I'm a hip hop artist. I'm a rapper. So that's what I do. And I've recorded some small things here and there, but right now I'm in the process of just developing my delivery, my voice. That's a long process. I'm not so much as comfortable to fully present myself just yet. I don't feel like I'm right just yet as a musician.
Do you have any
I'm still figuring it out.
Do you have any of the lyrics? I'm not going to ask you to sing or perform live on the telephone, but do you have? I write poetry. I'm a writer. I think it's a form of release. It's an escape. I'm sure you feel the same way. But do you have any lyrics committed to memory?
Absolutely. I can recite something for you. No problem.
Okay.
Would you like me to?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, something that really moves you.
Okay. Well, this was something I wrote a long time ago, really long time ago. It goes like, I've always kept my mind on making it. I've always dreamed of seeing it and never flaking it and never dropping it or breaking it. I got to catch it and I got to save it. While I'm getting close, I could feel it and I could taste it. I'm trying to do anything, whatever I can to make it. I'm really trying to be alive and not fake it, let's face it, because everyone else in the world is just basic. And why should I settle for less and not the best? Why should I remain low when I could be high? And why should I walk when I can learn to fly? Besides, I thought the stars should be in the sky and not to be, amongst the clouds or beyond. No, screw that. No limits, I'm going when no one's ever gone. I got to keep calm, and I just got to keep walking on. I'm 21 years old, still in it. Call this a robbery. Never giving it up. So don't ever bother asking me. I done came way too far to let all this just pass me. Well, I may be 21 years old, young and reckless, but I got a lot of dreams written on my checklist, and no one's ever stopping me from becoming the bestest. No questions about it, so don't even try to test it. I'm the greatest master in history in the making. I know about 7 billion people must have said the same thing, but the only difference is I know when I'm obsessed. Seeing the future with my mind, guess who's the best? Yours truly. Best believe it. Yeah, it's your boy Sonny. Repping on the mic, in the limelight. Get your time right, because I'm right and I'm tight. Like Ali in the ring, ready to fight. Fists in flight. Flying with fury, bringing the light to your eyes, to your dome. Medusa, you need a stone. You can't stop me. I got the eye of the tiger. You better call me Rocky.
I like it. I like the Young and the Restless, Checklist, and the Bestest. That really...
Yeah, that was something I wrote a long time ago. When I write now, it's a little more lyrical. It's a little more. My vocabulary certainly broadened since then. I wrote that years ago when I was probably like 15, 16. So that was.
And you modified it to the 21, didn't you? The age.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely modified it.
I want to get into the millennial mind.
Oh, jeez.
As an artist, as a writer, as a poet, lyricist, where's that generation gap? What are people my age, I'm in my 40s, what are we missing when it comes to the millennials in light of the information age that we live in? With the news that you see, I mean, we just bombed Syria the other day. Just all these wars, Russia, the elections. I mean, what's going? I want to understand the pulse of the millennial artist. Can you? That's kind of a tough question. It's a real question, but I kind of want to see what's in your soul.
It's really, I'm not entirely sure how to answer that, because you know what? I mean, I personally, I don't feel like a millennial. Okay. I personally don't feel, and honestly, I mean, it may sound rude. I don't want to be associated with millennials. In fact, I really don't want to be associated with any age group, because I feel like that somewhat limits me. Mm-hmm. It kind of puts a border around my personality and the person that I am, and my mindset and my mentality, and it kind of has this, this fence that that allows me whether to think beyond more or less. And but I think there's a lot of things going on in today's time in society right now that are both good and bad. There's a lot of bad going on, and as a person my age, I feel that it's important for me to just focus on what it is that I'm doing in my craft to keep me from thinking and getting involved into the negatives. There's a lot of young adults my age who are 21 and younger. You go on Instagram and Facebook, and it's I get flabbergasted by just where millennials are and younger. There's the age groups between like 15 and 25, in which are on a level of atrocity. I mean, it's just crazy that you hear some of the people my age talk, and it's kind of disappointing. There's a lot of there's a lack of knowledge and a lack of understanding of how life works and the values and morals. The values today don't really exist. At least the important values, they don't really exist in my demographic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but as an artist, and I think I speak for most artists out there, older or, wise and young, as an artist, we kind of pull away from politics and we pull away from all that stuff. I mean, in a way, when you're an artist, you're more majority of the time you're really free-spirited and you're really open-minded, and you kind of don't let things limit you. I personally definitely do not let things limit me. That's why, I feel that I can easily adjust and get along with someone who's much older than me or someone who's much younger than me. I keep my personality diverse, in which I can communicate with someone who's much older than me, much wiser than me, and someone who's much, less knowledgeable than I am. I have a willingness to learn, and I also have a willingness to teach my knowledge and what I know.
That's a great answer. As far as I don't like paradigms either, but I more or less wanted to know, as a young artist, what the mind frame is. And I know that you like hip hop and rap. I know I'm a big fan of Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if you are too, but
of course, yeah,
he gets political, prophetic, and likewise with Tupac and Frida. She made strong political statements. But I just kind of wanted to know how you viewed us, and like you, I look up to people that are older than me and try to just attach onto their wisdom. Is there anything that you want to say? Tell us about your show. It's, tell my audience where it's at, what time, the date, everything.
Well, like you said, the show is called Vision. It's going to be June 2nd, a week before my birthday.
Happy birthday.
It'll be, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's going to be in downtown Los Angeles, 1108 South Los Angeles Street. The location is called Tecton. It's a buddy of mine. He prints shirts, and it's this beautiful, really cool space. I found it really contemporary and very raw. It's going to feature artwork. We're going to have drinks, music, of course. I'm going to be releasing some apparel. I also do clothing, which I print my artwork on clothing. And I'm going to be doing some new clothing. Yeah, we'll be releasing some stuff there. And also considering the first 50 people in line will receive a limited edition print and also some La Bulla tickets to my dad's event, La Bulla, which is, I believe, June 16th. That'll be at Plaza de la Raza. Mm-hmm. And that will be from, I think, 7 to 11, I'm pretty sure. And, so whoever's in line during that time, they'll get a good hookup. And the show's going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be tons. It's going to be a great place to network. I've invited a lot of people who are involved with business, so it's a great place for people to just connect, view some artwork, and just have good vibes. That's all it's about, is just sharing the vibes.
Is there anything that you want to share? You've got the airtime right now. Is there anything that I'm missing? Anything you want to share?
My favorite color is green. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, let me ask you a question. How do you feel about your question? I mean, how do you feel about us younger adults?
Personally, I feel like I feel like I've worked hard to make the place, society, a better place, but I don't think many of us worked hard enough. I think that the burden is so great, and it's really good to hear your optimism, how you embrace a positive spirit, because I think things are going to get a little bit more difficult. So I like to see that strength, because it brings the spirit of, the survival of the fittest, and we need people in their 20s to carry the workload. What do you think about my answer?
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, I personally feel obligated, you know, as a person, as a human being, I feel that it is everybody's obligation to do something positive in their lifetime in hopes to inspire another, to help another. That's really what I do. You know, at the end of the day, you know, the best thing and the best feeling is when someone messages me or something and saying something that, like, you know, I've inspired them, or they, you know, my work has, you know, made them smile or something. And, you know, I really just don't want to put negativity out there. I'm using what I can do. This is me. This is what I do. And I'm going to make the best of it and hopefully, you know, just put out positive vibes out there. And, you know, like I said, it's just my obligation to do so. And whenever I have the opportunity to converse with someone who's, you know, someone kind of lost in their head, and, you know, they're really not sure, you know, what's going on in life at the moment in their life, and, you know, someone who's maybe feeling down and out, and, you know, maybe I can shed a little bit of light somehow using, you know, whether it be my artwork or my music or whatever artillery I have at hand at that moment, you know, and I'm going to use the ammunition in my best possibility, you know, and I'm going to aim for something positive, and hopefully I hit that target with my knowledge and with my feedback to, you know, to people my age, and seek a positivity and all that good stuff.
Good. And by the way, I think you can be a really good radio show host, because you saw how you worked that. You passed the question back to me. I thought that was really great.
I'm just killing time. I mean, you
no,
said I got airtime.
I'm serious.
So,
you need to sit in my seat. So if you're ever in Phoenix, Arizona, you're gonna have to come on my show again.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely.
I like that. It means you're thinking.
Stop by for sure.
You're not like you're not like just constantly answering questions. You're actually, you know, this is good. Why did you use the word metaphysical knowledge contained in the theory of the third eye? What's going on with metaphysical knowledge words that you use? Because I tend to gravitate towards people who have an understanding of the metaphysical realm. So, I mean, so it surprises me that you're using this in your press release. Can you kind of expound?
Yeah, well, that's you know, in other words, that's a spiritual. That's something spiritual. That's something you know, on a frequency that is really hard to explain. You just have to. It's something that you feel. It's like an emotion. You know, a metaphysical knowledge is something that just comes from within the human spirit and comes from experience. You know, it's not something that you could just, you know, open up in a book and go chapter to chapter. That's you know, the whole thing of this series is these people have gained something from this you know, this fairy dust in the air, and that you can't get a grasp of. It's not physical. It's just something that just comes from within. It's invisible. It's a knowledge that you just gain from experience and from seeing things, you know, and hearing things. It's not like knowledge that I could just share with you.
Agreed.
It's like it's like an epiphany. It's very much like an epiphany. You reach a turning point in the learning curve, and you gain this unbelievable sight. You know, it's like a child. You know, when you're a baby, you don't remember the things you see when you're very young, but you reach a point where your vision and your memory becomes so strong that you start to remember everything that you see. Your vision becomes crisp. It's so clear. It's very much like that. You know, you reach a point where everything just becomes very clear and very simple. The complexities of life become very simple, and it's easier to understand things, and you understand things on a level that are so spiritual and divine. You know what I mean? They're so profound. It's just very profound. So, you know, that's the best way I can describe it. But like I said, it's something that you can't really explain. You just kind of have to. It just comes to you in a sense. It just comes, and I think everybody has, you know, quote unquote, a third eye. that is just another word of saying, you know, everybody has a deeper perception of reality. They just have to tap into that. They just have to see that. They have to feel it. Eventually, they'll reach it. Doesn't mean that, you know, people who don't have a stronger sense of, you know, of perception and a perspective on life as strong as, you know, like the likes of Einstein or Picasso or Frida Kahlo or Jean-Michel Basquiat, et cetera, et cetera. You know, it doesn't make them any less of them. It just, you know, they haven't reached that point of spirituality yet. You know, it's nothing religious or anything. It's not that they're less intelligent. It's just something within themselves. They become connected with life. They become connected with the earth, you know.
It's their gift to the universe. Can you tell my audience where they can locate you on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, please? And how can they get a hold of you?
Yes. Well, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I haven't been on Twitter in ages. But my Instagram is at Isaac Pelayo. That's ISAAC, P as in Patrick, ELAYO. And my Facebook is also just Isaac Pelayo. You know, it shouldn't be hard to find me. There's many Isaac Pelayos, but I like to think that I stand out of the bunch. Not to sound conceited.
Again, to my audience, Isaac Pelayo presents Vision, paintings by Isaac Pelayo. The opening reception is in Los Angeles on June the 2nd, 2018. And it's going to be located at 1108 South Los Angeles Street, Suite 101 in LA from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I know it's going to be a good one. Shout out to Antonio Pelayo, a good friend of mine. Antonio Pelayo Productions is hosting it. Hello?
Yes, I am here still.
And I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you again for coming on my show. If you're ever in town, I mean what I say. I want you to sit in my seat, okay, Isaac? Because
absolutely, yeah. Warm it up for me, because I could talk all day. In fact, you just said wrap it up. That means you're gonna bust the flow, right?
Yeah,
you're gonna end it with a wrap.
Yes, and I'm gonna do a follow-up piece on you too, as well. But before I go, I want to let my audience know that Paul Renteria is an actor from Los Angeles, and he's gonna be my next Monday night show guest. He's a biker, he's an actor, he's got extensive acting experience, and along with Paul Renteria, the actor, we're going to have a motorcycle club coming to the studio, and they are the Unbroken Motorcycle Club, and their 501c organization is a nonprofit organization that protects kids, and we're going to talk about kids who get sexually exploited and abused, and we're going to tell our audience what you can do to help. Thank you again, Isaac, for coming on the show.
Thank you again for having me. I had a pleasure talking to you. If you have any more questions, feel free to message me on any outlet you have available. I'd be free to answer.
Thank you. And our producer's going to wrap it up. Thank you for listening to the Tequila Onda Show.